Everything is holy. Everything is one. That means we're holy. Think about it, folks. If you were God, which you are, okay, how do you act? How do you change your behavior? Interesting concept. So I take refuge in the Dharma, those deep thoughts that form my philosophical and theological base. And I take refuge in the Sangha. And everyone has more than one Sangha. The Sangha is a spiritual group that nurtures and supports you. So here at UUCF, I have my meditation group, John Helson, Brian Ellis, thank you very much. And they tell me that they're going to continue during the summer, so we're going to hold them to it. But join them Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. They may change that, but they'll let you know. We also have my ministers cluster, which meets once a month in Ann Arbor, and we support each other. We make it a safe space for sharing the joys and the challenges of ministerial service. But on a daily basis, I have this congregation, this group of unfailingly open and compassionate folk, those who work tirelessly to make this world a better place, who celebrate life and open themselves to new ideas and truths. I got that from the covenant, you know. The Sangha is a nurturing place, and this is one of the few places that has, I just love the covenant here because it was crafted. It was truly crafted with thought, with theology in mind. The Sangha is a nurturing place and one that challenges us towards our highest aspiration. In our 5 years together, we've participated in a number of social service activities of which we can be proud. And I want, you recognize that one, okay? We stood out in the freezing. We're going to go quickly through this. There's Ruth making those signs that they told me we needed and they never used. So thank you very much. Okay, it was cold there. Okay, it was very cold. But we were there in force. And then we have that which, this is the legislature. Yeah. Okay, we went to the legislature and pounded on those things. And another time we went, and this is our small band of protesters, and you can see Frank Rossman's baritone back there. And he walked and he played, and it was wonderful. Tricky Dick. Okay, and then here we are at our vigils. 15 months we vigiled, okay, in cold weather, not so cold weather, absolutely freezing weather, and then warm and raining weather. We were there every single month on the second Tuesday of the month, okay? I think we made a difference. Food pantry. And folks, you know, I'm leaving, and I'm a big contributor to the food pantry. Chris is a big contributor to the food pantry, and we need a few people to step up and be big contributors to the food pantry. It doesn't have to be expensive. I go in there, I don't buy anything over $1. Every time I see a sale, I grab it. Okay, so, Betsy, we got, I think, $32 worth of stuff last time, didn't we? Yes, all these boxes, you know, just everything. Okay, so there we go, and now this is what I want you to see, because you haven't seen this yet. And we're going to make it work, Dave.
And the praise poetry of Witness was inspired by Detroit-born poet Carolyn Forshey.
No further ado, we'll call up our first artist, Mr. Larry Coleman. Come on.
Good evening, good people, and thank you, Deane. We, the people, elected a city council to take care of our town. The economy went south, and our money went down. The state governor sent in an emergency manager guy. We needed financial help, not an overpaid spy.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim Brown, and I've been writing probably since I was in college. When I was a little girl, I never met a mud puddle that didn't catch my fancy.
My name is Melissa. I've been writing poetry since 4th grade. My name means honeybee, and the honeybees are dying.
Hi, thank you to everybody. I'm Frank Rossman. I'm Social Justice Chair here at UUCF. All humans are entitled to nothing.
My name is John Straw. I've been a member here since 1980. I am proud to be a member of Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Flint. Water and air, brother and sister, fraternal twins. Life in the balance, extinction in view. Oh, poor water and air, we have failed you.
I'm Sheila Smith and I'm 33. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. That's the irony of somebody in Michigan City called Flint having to use bottled water. Thank you.
That's your teaser. It's 35 minutes, okay? It's our performance, but they cut out a couple of parts I really didn't want them to cut out. Do you remember your line, Frank? Tricky Dick one, hey, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Would you just say that just the way you did?
Which
that
line?
one line.
Which
hey,
one?
Hey. That very first line.
Oh, the very first line? The very first line is, hey, hey, my, Governor Schneider told a lie.
What's that from? Sock hop. Hundreds of pairs of socks. What's that from?
Any number of meetings.
Kildy.
Huh?
Kildy.
Oh.
Yes, Water Forum.
Water Forum.
The Water Forum. What's that from? Delma. Anti-racism. Nobody knows about this except John. This is asking one of our speakers what he thinks of homosexuality. Found it very difficult. Yes, it was a difficult conversation. John Helson, what's this? That's right, it's a Zen temple in Ann Arbor.
Oh.
Yes, yes. The Buddhist temple where we went for world religions. Yes, and let's go on because I'm just quickly going through these now. That's from Dia de los Muertos because in worship we also celebrate our diversity. Okay, and of course, West. Choir. Our RE program where we bring our children up in a good way. The chapel we share with 2 other churches. And celebrate, Pat, at the bounce house, the John Owen picnic. Oh, God, who knows what this is? And what happens every time we go to Bluebell? It's freezing. It rains. It's horrible weather. And still we had 45 people show up both times, believe it or not, huddled underneath. Oh, and drinking. That's right. You brought all that coffee, June. Listen to me, Sue. Honestly, we tried real hard. We tried real hard. And then we have concerts. And, we were going to name all the concerts, but there were so many we couldn't name all the concerts. We had lots of beautiful music. So if this talk were about Buddhism, I would have told you about the 4 noble truths. There's suffering, I cause my suffering. There's a way out of suffering, and that's the Eightfold Noble Path. I would have talked about the 5 precepts or vows common to all Buddhists. Not to kill, steal, engage in inappropriate sexual conduct, language, drugs, or intoxicants. But the question was about my theology, so I want to emphasize the aspects that are of paramount importance to the way I live. And I know we're going over, folks, sorry, but it's the last time you have to endure me, so here we go. The first is that we cause our own suffering. And when I first began to study Buddhism, I said, yes, sure. I know, I cause my own suffering. But it quickly proved to be a profound sense of appreciation. Now I realize that it's not the event that is the source of suffering, but my reaction to it. Now the Buddhist concept of suffering is not physical pain, but it's the disconnect. It's the angst in our lives. It's the feeling that life could be better. It's the Eeyore effect, right? It's worry and sadness and ruminating on how life could have been if only, if would have, wallowed, pity parties, digging into my sorry state. You get it, don't you? But why is this important? Every moment I spend suffering takes away from my joyful practice of being alive in the world. Mary Oliver says it well, and Bethy is going to read it for us. Sorry, Reverend Beth, I am.
After 56 years of being your best friend, I'm not surprised by anything. I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight fading, or am I just imagining it? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing, and I gave it up. And I took my old body and went out into the morning, and I sang.
Big drop. Well, fall right out. Go ahead. Thank you. And I sang. And that's what we've been doing this morning. And that's what we do when we are feeling ourselves. We sing when we're sad. We sing when we're happy. We sing when we're joyful. Song is the presence of life. It's interesting. When I meditate, oh, I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm not supposed to do that. When I meditate, I keep my eyes open. This is the Western Zen style of meditating because you are always engaged with the world, okay? And you're supposed to look a few feet in front of you. And that's how we meditate in 40 minutes of contemplative silence, awareness of silence. You know, sit down, shut up, sit down, pay attention. Those are the three rules of meditation. True. That's what we teach people. And but when I'm navel gazing, I'll be sitting there and my eyes will float back to me. I can't keep them forward. It's the oddest thing. I can tell my mental state by where my eyes drift to. When I'm looking at the world, they're out there, and it's just great. I can see everything. But when I'm looking at myself, I see very little. Like the folks in the social hall, I do not see the world around me. So I have apologies for you. Wallowing is an amazing pastime. And here's my apology to you. I apologize for whining. How much time do I spend whining about the cold weather?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's be honest. Aren't you going to be happy when you get to work with a minister who really loves Michigan seasons? Yeah. See, look forward to it. Every minute I spent whining, I was reinforcing the fact that I was cold and uncomfortable. What a stupid thing to do. I pulled my body and my spirit in. I apologize for whining about the weather. Michigan really is a beautiful state. When the sun shines, I mean, it's just amazing. And I didn't mean it that way. We cause our own suffering. How about having a disagreement and turning it into the great divide? I'm right, and I'm going to prove it to myself and to you. I'm going to rehearse all my points ad nauseum, and you're wrong, and this is why, and blah, 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 blah. And later, I'm going to even continue and ruminate about it later so that I can expand my foundational base in case we get into it again. Perhaps we'll continue to be angry with each other. Perhaps, for how long? Where each stuck step represents a lost opportunity for future growth. Do you hear UUCF in 1984 in this statement? We've had many hard years of hard feelings and anger. Isn't it great to have moved on from that? Isn't it great to be a unified community again? Okay, and there's one more apology I have to make to you. And it's, I'm causing my own suffering. I apologize for not writing thank you notes. I love the thank you notes I get from you. They are so wonderful, and it reminds me of your kindness, and they're so sweet. And I'm truly sorry for not reciprocating, for not telling you often enough how much your many kindnesses have meant to me. And I think about it often. I need to write a note. I should have written that note. Why didn't I write that note? Oh, it's too late to write that note now. How ungrateful they must think I am. Oh, look, I got another note. How wonderful, how sweet. When I leave, I will have to defriend everyone. Every single one of you on Facebook. I will cut out your email addresses, and I will think of you always. No, I can't say that. But it is hard. It is so, so hard. So, the act of defriending is just little clicks on the computer. But I am causing my own suffering by making it so hard. Don't you cause your own suffering. Let us accept this change. Let us move forward. And when we think of each other, let us smile. Let us smile because we want to. And this is the biggest tenet that I've ever learned in Buddhism. Live in the moment. Be in the moment. The time is now. It is what it is. How many times have you heard me say that? It is what it is, folks. We can't change it. We can enjoy it or be sad, but that's what it is. Feel it, move on. Medically, this has been a very hard year for me. I love to tell the story of my announcing my retirement with a Band-Aid wrapped around my head and my leg in a boot. I felt like you all were saying, yes, go on, get out of here before something else happens. Kind of felt that way myself. But here was the victory over suffering. We managed to move on without missing a beat, and it felt good. So, living in the now, being present. The title of this sermon was The Present of Presence, and you give that to me all the time. You are here. You are here in body, but you are also here in soul. Even if you don't use that word, I do. Okay? But you are always present when you're here, and that is a marvelous gift. Offer that to your new minister. Offer that to each other continuously. So, what a good time to practice living in the now, appreciating what we have, sharing and letting know. I want you to know that you've touched my heart. I thank you for your compassion. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your respect and your humor. All you have shared with me generously. I'm going to read something which y'all probably think is inappropriate. I don't know why it reminds me of you. It does. I'm sorry. It's a favorite. Kurt Vonnegut Jr. wrote a book called Cat's Cradle, and in it is the last rites of the Bokononist faith. And this is the excerpt from it. Theologically, doesn't work, but in my heart, this piece says something to me about UUCF. I smile with love every time I read it, so I share it with you. God made mud. God got lonesome. So God said to some of the mud, sit up. See all I've made, said God. The hills, the sea, the sky, the stars. And I was some of the mud that got to sit up and look around and be with you. Lucky me. Lucky mud. I, mud, sat up and saw what a nice job God had done with all of you. Nice going, God. Nobody but you could have done it, God. I certainly could have. Couldn't have. I feel very unimportant compared to you all. The only way I can feel the least bit important is to think of all the mud that didn't even get up to sit and look around. I got so much, and most mud got so little. Thank you for the honor. Now mud lies down and goes to sleep. What memories for mud to have. What interesting other kinds of sitting up mud I met. I loved everything I saw. Good night. We are Unitarian Universalists. We stand on the side of love. Jason Shelton, our resident musician, UU musician, has written that song, and we have sung it for years. But there is another one that he does which speaks to my heart. And Kim is going to lead this song.
Okay. But
before we do?
But before we do,
okay.
Carrie has something she'd like to say.
Oh.
I can't guarantee that. This is a little bit personal, but as a member of search committee that helped bring you here, I was so grateful for when you called 3 days after the interview with you and said, "I'm so glad you told us Maddie was born. How are you doing?" And I'm like, she's not our minister yet. And then I got to work with you for 4 years on the board. And my favorite memory is when I was having a really bad day and I was feeling like I wasn't doing a very good job. And you said, "Carrie, it is not your responsibility to make sure everybody else is being responsible, so stop it."
Non-directive, you know.
And then this month when Jim's mom died, and you called and said, "What do you need?" And I said, "Oh, we don't need anything. We're fine. We're fine." And you showed up at the funeral anyway and surprised all of us. And I felt like a piece of home was with us. So, just as you helped us say goodbye to her, it's my honor that I get to help us say goodbye to you. We're going to miss you a lot. Thank you.